Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dr. Cammy Goes Keto, where I want to talk today briefly a little bit about MUFAs and PUFAs, monounsaturated fat or monounsaturated fatty acids. It's the same thing, or polyunsaturated fatty acids. And so the difference between these two is very extreme in your body and causes lots of different things to happen depending on whether or not you're eating monosaturated fat or polyunsaturated fat. And so you want to pay attention to that when you look at your food labels, and it'll say on there polyunsaturated or monounsaturated. Like this morning when I was looking at my macadamia nuts, and the vast majority of the fat there is going to be monounsaturated. And what that means is that there's less double bonds between the carbon and the hydrogen atoms in this long chain of carbon and hydrogen atoms that make up a fatty acid. And so monounsaturated fatty acids are much better for you. And in the monounsaturated category, there are things like olive oil, avocado oil, macadamia nuts, olives. Those are all monounsaturated fat. What those monounsaturated fats do in your body is they're stable, they're stronger. It's kind of seems off to me that, like, when you get into the polyunsaturated fats and there's more double bonds in there, that those bonds are actually weaker. And it has to do with the biochemistry of how the carbon and hydrogen atoms go together. But so the monounsaturated fats have one double bond, and the polyunsaturated fats have many double bonds. And those double bonds make that molecule unstable. So in the monounsaturated fatty acids, that molecule is more stable. It's a little bit firmer. It's a little bit more flexible, and it doesn't break as easily as the polyunsaturated fats do. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But anyway, the monounsaturated fatty acids, like the olive oil, the avocados, avocado oil, macadamia nuts, olives, those things all improve insulin sensitivity in your body, which is one thing I'm really trying to work on right now. They reduce the lipodensity lipoprotein, the LDL oxidation, because when a lipoprotein becomes oxidized, it becomes more unstable and leads to bad things to happen. And so there's a reduction of that when you have the monounsaturated fats, and it's an anti-inflammatory, and it's also very stable when it's heated. That's why you want to try to cook with a lot of olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil too. That's the other one that I didn't mention in here yet. And so what that does is that reduces damage to the blood vessels and reduces inflammation, because anything when it gets oxidized is damaging to your blood vessels. And so that's what you want to do, is eat monounsaturated fat, and you want to try to pay attention to that in your diet. Now, the polyunsaturated fatty acids, or the PUFAs, are broken up, the PUFAs are broken up into omega-3 fatty acids and omega fatty acids. And the omega-3 fatty acids are very good for you. Those come in the fish, in the sardines, and in salmon. And so even though they're polyunsaturated, they're of the omega-3 variety. And so those are good for you, and those will help decrease inflammation. The omega polyunsaturated fatty acids are the bad guys. And that's the soybean oil, the corn oil, the canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. And those are very unstable in your body and cause a lot of oxidation to go on. So they cause metabolic dysfunction in your body. They cause insulin resistance. They cause joint pain. They increase inflammation. And if you really start paying attention to what you're eating and what kind of fat you're getting into your body, you'll notice this. And that's one of the reasons why when I would binge on ultra processed foods, those were full of the polyunsaturated stuff, full of vegetable oil. And vegetable oil, by the way, is almost always mostly soybean oil. They do make a blend of it, but most vegetable oil is actually soybean oil. And that's one of those omega polyunsaturated fatty acids that's really unhealthy for your body. So you want to try to pay attention to the kind of fats that you're eating. And you'll notice when you eat a lot of stuff that's fried in vegetable oil, like if I eat Chinese food or something that's a lot of food that's processed outside of my home, I'll feel worse the next day. I'll be inflamed. My joints will hurt. And when I used to binge on ultra processed food, that's why for the next 2 or 3 days, I could hardly walk. It was just so brutal because I was so full of so much inflammation. And so today, I think today is day 80 of no binging. And I am on a GLP-1 to help me. I'm on Zepbound, and that's helping a lot. And I am doing really, really well. And I was just thinking this morning about, MUFAs and PUFAs and wanted to talk to you guys about that so that you have a little bit of education about the monounsaturated fats and the polyunsaturated fats, and can start looking at what's in your food and pay attention to how you feel afterwards and try to make changes that are in a healthy way. All right. I hope you learned something from this, and you can like or subscribe to my channel if you're interested in learning more. One of the other subjects I want to try to tackle is cholesterol, but that's very complicated. It's much more complicated. Cholesterol is a very, very important thing in your body, and the cholesterol that you eat does not affect the way that your body makes cholesterol. And so it's kind of complicated, but you can't think, oh, I need to watch that cholesterol that's in that food because that's bad for my body. That's not true. That's why, eggs have cholesterol in them and they're actually good as a whole food. So the other thing I wanted you to remember is that fat does not make you fat. So you have to remember that inflammation, insulin resistance, and ultra processed foods are what will make you fat. So you have to pay attention to that too. All right, everybody, take care. Nice chatting. We'll see you next time. Bye.